Hello friends, my name is Alexa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, which is the third and last book of the Folk of the Air trilogy. I will warn you, there will be spoilers as I'm going to go into what happens in this book as well as a little character analysis. However, I will put a little timestamp in the description if you want to skip to the point where I give my overall rating and my overall thoughts of this book and of this trilogy. The Queen of Nothing kind of starts out with a little glimpse into Cardan's childhood. I'm not gonna spoil a lot of it, but basically the main thing you should know that he was just basically unloved and alone throughout his childhood. Even his own mother didn't really want to take care of him. And then we go back to Jude's exile. She's still living in the human world with Vivi, and she's just trying to survive, and she just wants to stop thinking about Cardan because she's angry with him and she's upset that he exiled her. But she can't, and she can't stop forgetting about him because she loves him, even though she won't admit it to herself just yet. As for Vivi, she's still trying to reconnect with Heather because after the whole fiasco at Taran's wedding, Heather kind of stopped talking to Vivi, which is understandable. I mean, if that stuff happened to me in a different world and my boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever I'm dating at the time wouldn't tell me about this stuff, the whole thing, I wouldn't talk to them either. And then while Jude's trying to get like money and like information and all that, she fights Grima Mog, who was exiled, I think, and then like now lives in the human world. And then after Jude comes back after fighting with her, Taran is there. And then Jude kind of is threatening Taran. She's even on the debating whether or not she wants to slit her throat right there on the carpet. Then Taran basically tells Jude that she killed Locke. Again, understandable, but I mean, you kind of signed up. Well, not really signed up for it, but she knew what she was getting into, surely. And then she begging Jude to help her because she's gonna be questioned on how Locke died or who killed him. But Jude's kind of going well, okay, why do I need to go there to help you out? And then Taran admits that she's pregnant with Locke's child. And so Jude eventually agrees that she would go to take Taran's place at the trial. And then while she's on her way to Elfhame, she kind of contemplates on if she could have pardoned herself because she is the queen, which is kind of yeah, you could have, Jude, you could have. And then I put page 65, the end sentences, I don't remember what exactly was said, but I guess it was pretty important because I wrote it down, but you can check it out for yourselves. Then during the whole trial aspect, Jude is really trying to act like Taran and answer the questions correctly while she's under the glamour, because remember, Jude is immune to being glamored, so she has to act like she's glamored, you know what I mean? And then Cardan takes Jude to examine her privately, and then he admits to Taran Jude that he knows that it's Jude and that he was upset that she didn't get his letters. And then Jude is also kind of angry with him, she kind of is upset that she just feels betrayed by him. And then during the whole time, all of a sudden, the palace was attacked by Madoc's men. And then while Jude is trying to protect Cardan from whatever is going on in the palace, she gets kidnapped or taken because Madoc thinks Jude is Taran. And then, so I guess apparently once Jude wakes up somewhere, while they're on the run, Maddox tells Tara and Jude that, tells Jude, not like Tara, but I'm just saying, but that, Cardan was doing everything he could to get Jude back, even like breaking his vow of killing people. I guess apparently he killed like a lot of Maddox's men, trying to get Jude back, but Maddox thinks that Jude's Taran, so. Then they're like, Maddox takes Jude and Oriana to the Court of Teeth, where he's like planning this huge army to try to take Elfhame for himself to be crowned the king. And then we meet like the rulers, and then the queen, or yeah, Surin, I think her name is. And I just felt very bad because she's just like treated so bad. I don't know why, like with the chained up stuff and the leash, like what the hell. But then Jude is trying to figure out what Maddox's plan is, and like also trying to find a way for her to escape, to warn Cardan and everybody in Elfhame that Maddox is planning an attack. And then the whole time she also finds that the ghost is being held prisoner. Apparently Maddox knows his true name, which I think is like a form of control, so like they know your true name, so he's like, yeah. And then during her time there, while Jude is pretending to be Taran, Oriana is actually the first one to figure it out that this is not Taran, this is Jude, which is kind of interesting how Maddox eventually finds out that Taran is, or that Jude is really pretending to be Taran, but it's kind of funny how a mother knows your kids, and you know what I mean? Like, mothers know, you know what I mean? And then Oriana kind of wants to help, like she kind of wants to help Jude get away, to get away from Maddox, because if Maddox finds out, then who knows what the consequences will be. And then Cardan and Roach come to rescue Jude, and then I think Roach gets injured by one of, I think, the Forge person's like traps, and so Cardan takes the Roach away, but he doesn't want to leave Jude alone, but Jude like tells him to go, and that she'll be like kind of she'll be behind him shortly because she has to go and rescue the ghost. And then when she gets to like where the ghost is being held, she sees like all these chains are gone and that the ghost is gone, but the only person who's standing there is Maddox. And so he's like telling her, you have to fight me. And so she's like, she knows it's not like a winning fight, so she runs away from him. And then she gets seriously injured where she's almost going to die. And then Vivi, Taran, and Grima Mog are there to help her. Like, Vivi's protecting her little sister. Eventually Maddox leaves and just like leaves Jude to basically die. But then Jude uses like the power of light, or I can't describe what it is, but like she kind of heals her own wounds in a way. Like because she's the queen of Elfhame, so the land will listen to her, and so she uses that to kind of heal herself, or like try to hang on a little longer while Taran is stitching her up. But Jude at the same time is losing a lot of blood, so she's kind of fading in and out. And then Taran eventually chooses her sister. Like, she wants to be with her sister. She stays with her sister. She's loyal to her sister. And then I think when Jude, well, she's not 100%, but she sneaks back into Elfhame's palace to try to talk to Cardan about this whole thing, but then she slips and falls and like seriously injures herself. And she like falls onto the table, and then Cardan's like leaning over her, basically like upset that she hurt herself once again. And then like all the people, all the nobles of Elfhame are like, oh, we should arrest her because she's exiled, she's a traitor or whatever. And then Cardan officially declares that Jude is his wife and the rightful queen, and that she is not exiled. Then when she wakes up, she sees that she's in Cardan's clothes and he's like washing his hands. And then they have this moment where they're walking along, like just talking, and he basically tells her that, yeah, you could have pardoned yourself because you are the queen, and that he didn't want to, he wanted to impress her, basically. Like, he wanted to impress her with the plan he came up with a short amount of time, and that he didn't mean to hurt her. And then Jude admits that to him, to his face, finally, she admits it to him that she was afraid of him and that she was hurt by this whole thing. And then she even slaps him across the face, which shocks her that she did that. But honestly, I understand why she did that too. And then I can't remember when this happens, but basically when the bomb is coming to change Jude's stitches or dressings, she goes, and Cardan wouldn't leave when the bomb asked him to. Jude says, well, maybe he'd like to hear me scream. And then Cardan goes, I would, Cardan says, standing, and perhaps one day I will, in regard to removing her stitches, which is like, hello, what the hell? Dang. And then Cardan, when they're also having this conversation, Cardan says that he trusts Jude and that he was upset that she never got his letters, and she's basically like, well, what the hell, what letters? But I will say that after I read this book, I did read the letters, and I'm so sad that Jude will never get to see them again because Lady Asha, who is Cardan's mother, intercepted the damn letters. I don't know, I think she was bitter because Cardan found happiness with Jude and Lady Asha never found that, so she wanted to kind of, I guess, make him feel unhappy. I don't know, but, and like Jude knows about it, so she kind of messes with Lady Asha like throughout the book. You have to read it because you have to read to find out how she messes with her. But and then I think it was oh yeah, and then like Jude tells Cardan about what Monarch's plan is, and then Taran sends them like a message that tells them to meet her at Hollow Hall, and Cardan kind of gets a little suspicious because he didn't think that she knew about that place. And then there's like this whole moment between Taran and Ghost where there's a little something. Like, I think Taran has a little crush, or they both have a little crush on each other because he listens to her. The Ghost listens to Taran. And then after they went home with the Ghost and Taran, Jude went to sleep, and she was actually hoping that Cardan would sleep with her. And then on page 200 to like 204, Cardan and Jude have their first moment together. He's also very like, he asks for her consent because she kind of hesitates a little bit, and then he's kind of like, oh, we don't have to do this right now. We can, if you're uncomfortable, we can stop. And she's like, no, I just need to go get undressed. And then she kind of comes back with more confidence in herself than when they were like reenacting that whole scene on the couch in the Wicked King. she's more confident. She like wants to know what he wants. She basically wants to fulfill Cardan's fantasy of what, you know what I mean? But he's like, no, I want you to tell me what you want me to do to you. So he kind of wants her to take the lead on what they want to do while they're sleeping together. And then he basically admits, like, while they're doing that whole thing, he says to Jude, by you, I am forever undone. And then Jude kind of whispers to him, and like she tells him that she missed him. And then there's a lot of like preparing for the battle. And there's also, like, before the main battle, Cardan admits to Jude that he loves her. And then once they're like having this little meeting with Madoc and his army and the delegates or whatever, Cardan breaks the crown, which unfortunately means that it's cursed because of the Forge Master cursed the fucking crown or something. And then he gets turned into a serpent, and then goes he has a rampage. He like kills the Forge Master. Like, thank God for that. Dude was creeping me out a little bit. And then like he only recognizes Jude. And then like Jude has this moment alone with Cardan as a serpent, where she's kind of basically begging to like the land to fix him. Like, she would give up everything. She would even give up the crown, the power, all of it, just to have Cardan with her again, standing side by side. And then Jude is like trying to figure out how to like fix him, like how do we like get him back to normal. And like I think the delegates or the people from the Court of Teeth basically said, oh, we can just make a magical leash around him and he'll be by your side forever, but like as a snake. And Jude kind of, she like contemplates it. Like, she wants Cardan by his side. Like, she even thinks like, well, okay, yeah, well, he'll be on my side as a snake, right? But then she's like kind of going back and forth on like what Cardan would want her to do. And then I think the bomb asks Jude to heal the roach, which she's kind of hesitant to do because she couldn't heal Cardan. But she then calls upon the land to help the roach wake up, in which it works, and the bomb and the roach have this moment together. And Jude is happy about it because she was able to save her friend. And yeah, but it's like a bittersweet moment because she's able to save her friend but not the love of her life. And then she has this lovely meeting with Nikasia, and I think it's a beautiful moment for not like a friendship kind of way, but like a finally of understanding between the two of them, like a start of a friendship maybe, where Nikasia and Jude are crying together about their love for Cardan, and they're finally getting along with each other. And Nikasia eventually like tells Jude all the good stuff, all the nice things Cardan is, basically not like all the bad stuff that he's shown her, you know what I mean? And then she tells him that, you know, Cardan commissioned your coronation dress, and which basically to me, because they were interrupting, or Cardan interrupted the whole stars lesson, so her dress kind of has the little stars and like little stars on there, I think. I'm not sure, but in any case, because she couldn't see the stars, Cardan brought the stars to Jude. And then the last bit, they have this one last little fight, or basically Madoc's army on one side and then Jude's army on the other, where they're going after the snake. Jude wears this lovely armor, and then she goes to where Cardan's serpent is, and then she makes the choice that is very difficult to do to the people that you love. But she makes this realization that Cardan would want her to kill him because he won't be sure she would have the snake, but that's not him, right? And so she slices his head off, and basically she just falls to the ground, and Madak and the whole army stuff go at each other, and she's just sitting there. She's just rather in shock, or that she just wants to die to be with him. Like, Madak is standing over here getting ready to, we don't know if he'll kill her or not, but she's just like, she's not moving. She's just ready. You know what I mean? But then Cardan, the curse is broken for Cardan. Jude broke the curse, and so Jude and Cardan basically embrace each other, and then he told her that he only recognized her. He knew nothing else, but he only saw her. He always knew it was her. And then that's pretty much it. Yeah. And besides like the little coronation at the end, and then Jude exiles Madak to the human world, and Oriana makes the decision to go with him. Vivi and Heather made the request to forget her memories, but only, and that she's willing to give Vivi another chance to make her fall in love with her all over again. And then they have this lovely little, I think, pizza party in the human world where Cardan is having the time of his life. And that's pretty much it. That's all that happened in this book. Well, what I wrote down in my notes, but I'll get to the character analysis, which is going to happen right now. For the character analysis portion, for Jude, I wrote her character development is all I'm going to say. How she went from someone who was trying to find her place in her new environment, to someone who was starting to find it, to someone who was uncertain on what to do as queen, to now someone who became a worthy queen. Not only that, but her vulnerability with Cardan, how she admitted to him that she is terrified of him, and how much of an idiot she must have felt when Cardan told her you could have pardoned her yourself. In Wicked King, when she and Cardan were on the couch, she felt embarrassed with her lack of experience, to how confident she is now. To how confident she is more now with Cardan, and when they were doing it for the first time, and that she admits that she missed him. The challenge she faces when Cardan gets cursed and is turned into a serpent. When she had another vulnerable moment with him as a serpent, she begged the land to help him, that she would give up the crown if that meant she could have him back. She even asked Nikasia for help, and they both cried together. Nikasia told her the kind things Cardan did and how he commissioned Jude's dress for Jane's coronation. The options that were laid out before her when Cardan was a snake were not easy choices. She could either bridle him and then he's bound and easier to control, or the option she was dreading the most was unaliving him. She wanted to bridle him, but then she realized that's not what Cardan would want, and it would be selfish to keep him that way. So now she's left with the only option that she hates, but she does it, and I personally think she was prepared to die after she sliced the snake's head off, and then the battle that ensued after. Killing Cardan's snake form killed her because she did not fight back when she was close to dying. But then again, she was also completely frozen in shock with what she did. But then you have to take into account, well, if Jude is gone, then what happens with Oak, right? After the curse was broken and Cardan was once again in her arms, she told him that she loved him to his face. And yes, she did say it to him when he was a snake. For Cardan, I wrote his character development too. He went from an arrogant, cocky, cruel prince to an quote-unquote unworthy, wicked king to a man who was worthy of being a king. From a man who was unloved to someone who is now loved. I felt that Jude never got... words? I felt bad that Jude never got his letters. And once again, yeah, I did read them afterwards. Lady Asha, when I catch you, never mind. Honestly, I think she didn't want Cardan to be happy because Lady Asha wasn't happy. Cardan loves Jude. He knew it was her when she was disguising herself as Taran. He loves her so much he was unaliving Maddox's soldiers to try to get Jude back. He loves her so much that he was risking his life trying to rescue Jude from the Court of Teeth. He loves her so much that he admits he trusts her and that him exiling her was to impress her and that he never meant to hurt her. He loves her so much that he brought the stars to her when she couldn't see him because he wanted a lesson to change in Cruel Prince. Also, when Jude and him are having sex for the first time, he asks for her consent and even tells her that we don't have to do it if she's not comfortable. And then asks what does she want him to do. Oh, what does she want him to do? When he broke the blood crown with his bare hands, that's when I knew he was a worthy king. Lastly, he loves Jude so much that while he was a snake, he only recognized Jude. And to conclude, both Jude and Cardan have my heart. The rating that I gave this book was, once again, Infinity Stars. I really love this book. I love this series. Jude and Cardan, like I've said before, have my heart. I just really enjoy the world of Elfhame. I love the world building between each of the lands. The first book that focused on Elfhame, then the second book that was more the Undersea, and then this last book where we mentioned a little bit of the Court of Teeth. I really like how Holly Black took the time to really just world build. I love when books or stories just world build. Like, I want you to bring me into this world that you've created. I want to imagine myself there, you know what I mean? I do know that there are other books as well that Holly Black wrote, the Stolen Hair duology, and then I think the Why the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate novella, I think. I haven't read those books yet, but when I do, I will be also making a video about those books as well. So I'm not saying goodbye to Elfhame yet. We still have a couple more books to visit. So I would recommend this book if you have continued on from The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King. If not, then if you haven't continued on from The Cruel Prince, or if you want to just stop at The Wicked King, then no, but I do hope that you will reconsider and read this lovely ending to this wonderful trilogy. Next time, I think I'll be talking about the first book and the Zodiac Academy series. The first book I'll be talking about in the next video will be the Awakening book, Zodiac Academy Awakening. So look forward to that book. That what I have to say about that book. That's about it. That's all I'm going to have to be talking about the trilogy for now. If you liked this video, then please leave a like. If you read this book, or haven't read this book, or you are in love with the series like me now, then please leave a comment down below and just tell me what your thoughts about this whole trilogy is, or what your favorite book in the whole trilogy is, or just your overall thoughts about what you found about this trilogy, or what you didn't like about this trilogy, or whatnot. I will also be putting a playlist that I've created of other books I've talked about if you want to watch more videos like this one, and if you want to see more videos like this one, then please hit the subscribe button. And that's all for now. So, bye friends.